And we're back with Seth King of DailyAnarchist.com from New Hampshire. And Seth, back in the part one, you talked a little bit about Lou Rockwell and Walter Block and their involvement with Ron Paul. And we just had Stefan Molyneux on our show, the last show before you. And Walter Block actually just recently attacked Stefan Molyneux a little bit. He was saying that he's a self-hating libertarian because Stefan Molyneux has the perspective that he is not pro-Ron Paul. He's not, anti-Ron Paul, but he's not pro-Ron Paul, and wouldn't even if he was American, he wouldn't vote for him because he's against the political process. He's against democracy and all those sort of things. And so it was really interesting for me to hear that you said that Walter Block and Lou Rockwell back in the last election said they wouldn't vote for Ron Paul, because I'm getting the impression that this time around they would, from what they're saying. Is something changed there?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I just remember, 4 years ago during the campaign, they were definitely very supportive of Ron Paul. And at the time I was as well. And so because they were supportive of Ron Paul, I was more likely to read LouRockwell.com. If they hadn't have even talked about Ron Paul, I might have just thought that, whatever, not pay attention to him. But because they were supportive of Ron Paul, then I listened to him. But then they'd also say other things like, oh, by the way, we're anarcho-capitalists. They'd rarely ever get into it like seriously. It was always just like kind of offhanded in their little blog section, like, oh yeah, we're anarcho-capitalists. And, I think even Block would say things like, I haven't voted in a few times, not out of principle, just because, I'm lazy or whatever. So they weren't really that hung up on, the voting aspect of it. They were more interested philosophically. But no, this time around, and I can't speak for all of them again, but definitely that Walter Block article, where he's definitely very critical of Stefan. And Walter Block, I love you. You without you, I wouldn't be the anarchist I am today. But with all due respect, I think you really blew it on that one. No, his attack points were weak, and there was really no reason for it, especially because the video that he saw of Molyneux was 4 years old. I mean, why didn't he bring that up a couple years ago?
Oh, I didn't even realize that was an old video.
It was a 4-year-old video of when Ron Paul ran the first time, or the second time. So yeah, there's that. But no, the Lou Rockwell crowd, you also have to understand where they're coming from, and I disagree with them, and I still have the utmost respect for them. But you have to understand that they're the older generation, and they've been preaching this stuff for 40 years, and a lot of them, they've got cushy jobs, and they're not in a position where it makes a lot of sense for them to risk everything, and fight for the cause. They do better where they are, which is a position of university and stature and all that stuff, and spreading the message. But I've even had email conversations with some of them, and they are totally against civil disobedience and this sort of thing. They think it's that's too dangerous, and nothing good comes of it. And the younger generation, at least where I'm coming from personally, is I don't have any choice. I mean, if I want to survive, you can't just wait around to get a job, and you're not going to go start your own business and go through $50,000 and 5 years of red tape, because you don't have the assets to do it, and you've got too much dignity to do it anyway. So for me, I want to be self-employed. I want to be employed. So I need to, start an agorist business. I need to do something without permission. I need to make money and not pay taxes and do all these sorts of things. And they, of course, they're not in desperation mode, because they've, the economy has been decently well their whole lives, and they've probably got nice fat savings, and it wouldn't make much sense for them to just not declare taxes one year and then lose their entire nest egg, which is their house and their 401ks and all that stuff. So, the younger, there's definitely a divide between the younger and the older generation, and I think that they both serve their purpose. I mean, without the philosophical backing of the older generation, I wouldn't be where I am today. However, there comes a point where you need more than just talk and words. You need action, and that's what I think the younger generation has the real potential, is because we're disobeying. We're finally saying, we're going to live like free individuals, and we're not going to respect government rules and regulations, and everything we do to disobey is only going to help gum up the gears even more. And because of the internet, with the way the message gets spread rapidly, we don't need to become tenured professors making $200,000 a year to spread the message anymore. We can be some bloke on the internet and with what we do, just 15-minute YouTube videos, and we can spread the message to millions. So the paradigm has definitely changed, and unfortunately, I think many of the older generation libertarians haven't fully grasped that.
Well, we sent an email to Walter Block, and we invited him on the show. We haven't heard back yet. I hope that's not because he's scared to talk to the younger generation of anarchists. I'm sure it isn't. I just sent it a few days ago, so hopefully he'll get back to us, and we'd like to hear his point of view on all of that. And it's so funny though, isn't it? We're all sort of on the same team, but it's just typical of humans to just fight amongst themselves anyway. So us anarchists are such a small percentage of the population, and then even once we're here all together, we all infighting. Oh, I'm an anarchist. I'm in the But actually, I really understand why that happens, and a big part of it is the minarchists versus the anarchists is a big sort of a thing right now, and I totally understand it, because once you convert to full anarchists, you can't understand minarchy. You just don't understand. Why would you just, you understand that most anarchy is good, so why would you keep some bad stuff, And it's just a really funny sort of a thing. But I want to move on to another topic now. I know you just recently moved from California to what they call the Free State, New Hampshire. I'm down here in Mexico, so I kind of laugh when I hear free, because it's not that free. But, no, but I totally I support what they're doing up there. I think anything to do anything towards freedom is great. And I'm sure you must have some interesting stories about getting there and your arrival there. And how's it been going?
So far, it's been great. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better decisions I've made. I mean, there's so much going on here that, I've been here for a little under a month now, and I've still only met just a fraction. I mean, I've met a ton of people in Manchester and Keene and Grafton, and yet all the people I've met is still only a fraction of the number of quote unquote free staters that have moved here. So there's all sorts of different things going on, whether you're into civil disobedience or in the state, in the system activism or anything in between, you name it, it's going on here. So it's been wonderful just to be around people of like mind, because like I said, I no longer have to explain myself for 5 hours before they finally understand where I might be coming from, just to be able to hang out. So it's been nice to be able to hang out with people and just have that security that's involved. And then also another thing that I just absolutely love about the Free State is the division of labor. When you're the only anarcho-capitalist activist in your small town in a large radius, you have to do everything by yourself. If you want to make a video, you've got to have your own, video equipment probably, and you need to, if you want to make flyers, you've got to make your own flyers. All these sorts of things. Right?
You're just sitting at your friend's house right now doing this
exactly.
Because you didn't have any video equipment set up.
Exactly. I've never used Skype. Shamefully, I've never used Skype before in my life. I don't have my own video recorder or headphones or anything like that. And I didn't want to have to spend hundreds of dollars buying all the stuff for myself. And I didn't want to have to go to, an internet cafe and give them money. So I just called up somebody that, I'd met once, Jason Talley. He's a videographer, and I know he's got tons of audio video equipment. And I just asked him, hey, Jeff Berwick wants to do an interview of me. Can I use your equipment? And he said sure. So it wasn't a problem. So we came down from Manchester for the day to Keene and hanging out. And here I am using his equipment and saving ourselves money. And like I said, it's just the division of labor that you cannot achieve until you get a critical mass of activists. And that's what's going on, is the more and more anarcho-capitalist activists that move here, the more you can accomplish. So
yeah, that's great. I say about New Hampshire that it's one of the sort of the three places that I really there's only two that I really know of. What Doug Casey's doing down in Argentina right now is really great, in Cafayate. They don't market themselves as being a free state place or a place for anarchists, and not everyone who moves there are anarchists, but in general, most people are very, very close to anarchist. They're very open-minded. They're very, very few have anything to do with any governments and all that sort of stuff. So, but of course that costs a lot of money down there. The lots that they've sold out, all the cheaper lots, which were around 100,000. Now the cheapest one you can get is 250,000. So definitely nothing for younger guys, younger anarchists that don't have a lot of assets yet. So But it's interesting. So I think about New Hampshire and now Cafejate Argentina as sort of being like two sort of places where we can kind of go in the world where we can be amongst like-minded people. I've been trying to get some people down here to Acapulco, but that's going a little slow at the moment. But it's great to know that there are a few places where you can go with like-minded people. It's definitely you can probably find a lot freer places in the world in general if you want to go live on an island somewhere with all these people. But to find a place where you can hang out with like-minded people is really what it's all about. And when I went down to Argentina, and I'm going down again in November, because it was just so uplifting to be around like-minded people. It's like you said, you don't have to explain anything. I've never met someone who's an anarchist who I've ever disliked. It's like we're all sort of on the same wavelength. Because if you think about it, like liberals, if you have a room full of liberals, there's going to be a whole bunch of people who just hate a whole bunch of the other people, and same with conservatives. But I've never been in a room of anarchists where anyone didn't like what everyone else was about and what they were saying and how they were in general. It's like we're a different strain of humans almost.
Yeah, we're the neo-humans.
Your microphone is just cutting out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, let's take a break and we'll come right back.